Godox yet again knocks it out of the park with their small, brand new ML60. This thing is unbelievably small. Look at it in comparison to my head. My head is literally bigger than this thing. If you are new here, welcome to the channel. My name is Noguera, and we are going to be taking a deep dive on this brand new Godox ML60 LED light. Now, first off, you may be seeing this video because you are trying to decide between the ML60 or the SL60W. I actually have that one, and you can see there is a huge difference between the two. Now, I'll go through a few more differences just to kind of give you an idea, maybe help you make the decision whether you want to go with the ML60 or the SL60W. Now, obviously, aside from the insane size, your mounting point is very different as far as on the SL60W. This is a little bit more robust. It's definitely bigger, and on the inside you can see here there is a metal sleeve which adds to its reinforcement and allows you to really add some heavy modifiers without worrying about your yoke breaking or the mounting point. Now on the on the ML60, you do have a mounting point here on the bottom. However, it is significantly smaller just because the light is also smaller. So something to just kind of keep in mind. And the knob on the actual mounting point for the ML60 is significantly smaller than the handle on your Godox SL60W, as you can see here. So this actually allows a lot more torque than you would get here on the ML60. I'm going to be making a mistake like that a lot of times during this video, so I apologize in advance. Now, part of being a little bit more of the premium line, the ML60 does come in a little carrying case like this. It makes it very easy to just lug around in a safe way. I'm going to go ahead and open this up and show you guys what comes in the package altogether. So in the top zipper pack, you do have a shoulder strap, and then as we get in a little deeper, we of course have the Godox ML60 light. We also have the handle. This, as I mentioned earlier, is a big difference from the Godox SL60W in the way that it mounts. I will show you guys that later, but it is a nice heavy-duty handle, and on the bottom it also has a metal sleeve that helps reinforce and make it a little bit stronger on the mounting points that you use it on. If we dive a little bit deeper, we have the battery pack here. It has 2 slots for NPF batteries, which is really awesome. And then at the top, there's actually a button you can press that shows you the battery level of the batteries that you're using. The unfortunate thing is it's not hot swappable, so you aren't able to pull one battery out and have the light run off of only one battery. Now, there are also a couple of straps. So you can see here, in case you did want to run this off of a bigger battery, you can basically strap this around a stand and then have your battery in here, and then it just locks in like that. Something just really cool to have in the bag in case you wanted to run off of a larger battery pack than just those NPF batteries. And then we also have your power cable, which will go from your handle here to the battery pack and then to the light. And one thing that I thought was really awesome is they do have even an extended cable, because on the battery pack itself, on the back, as you can see here, there is a belt clip. So this allows you to actually clip this on somewhere else a little bit further from your actual LED light in case you didn't want it directly attached to the handle. So it's really nice. It adds for another configuration so you decide to use it. And then obviously we have your AC power cable. And then of course your adapter right here. That's pretty self-explanatory. And last but not least, we have a little reflector, as I mentioned, that is your Godox mount. So the mount, as you can see, is significantly smaller than that of a Bowman's mount. So this is how it looks completely set up. We got 2 NPF batteries on the front, and we got the handle hooked up as well. I currently have it on, and right now it is at 1%, which leads me to the next thing that I wanted to talk about. On the back, there are two dials. I'll show you a close-up image of it here too. And one thing that you may notice is as we go up on the right dial, that is what controls our power output. And I noticed that its increments are very, very smooth up until when you get down to about 20%. And then below that, it starts to really stop down a lot, and the intervals between each setting, you notice them a lot more as opposed to above 20%. Like I said, it's a little bit smoother and much more gradual in the brightness setting. If you go ahead and actually click on the left button, you can see that we are able to turn the fan off, which is really, really awesome in case you needed it extra quiet. But believe me, this is extremely quiet to begin with. However, if you turn off the fan feature, you are only able to pump this up to 50%. And that is just a fail-safe to make sure that the light doesn't overheat and cause any permanent damage. So just kind of keep that in mind. But right now, I am going to keep it on. And I'm going to put this at 100%. And then I am going to see, as you can see, man, it is so bright in here. But I'm going to raise this up to the mic and see if you guys can hear it. I'd actually be super surprised if you could, because honestly, I can barely hear it. Now, as far as the battery life, I've been able to honestly run this for 60 to 70 minutes. With no issues whatsoever. This has been at different power settings, so it's been usually between 75 to I'd say maybe about 85, 95%. Since it's so bright, I honestly haven't really had a reason to pump this up all the way to 100%. And just to kind of give you an idea, on my left here, I am using a deep parabolic modifier that is double diffused. And I have this at 90% with the SL60W. So don't be discouraged. Just the fact that it's 60 watts, you can still do quite a lot with it. Like I said, this is double diffused and it still looks pretty good. And I'm only at about 90%. Now, diving a little bit deeper, right here on the yoke, you can see that in between these two pieces, there is a soft rubber-like washer, and that really does help hold things in place when you tighten down this knob. Now, going back to the construction of the light, as you can see, there's this really nice design on the top and also on the bottom. It's got kind of like a honeycomb design, and it really does allow for a lot of air to come through and cool the light. And I think that largely attributes to it being able to run, one, really, really cool, and also really, really quiet. I think it's really aesthetically pleasing and also extremely functional. Now, jumping back into the settings on the back of the light, we can depress the center of the left yellow button, and that brings us to our menu. And on the bottom here, a couple of notches, you can see there is an option for FX. Now, I turn the light on just a little bit so you guys can actually see what the effects are. And one of them is just going to be lightning. Now, this is actually an issue that I've had. I'm going to turn this off actually, just so you guys don't go crazy with it blinking. But one of the issues that I've had with the Godox lights, and it seems unfortunately they didn't fix it in this one, is those types of effects are very repetitive. They're not at random. So like, for example, that lightning one, it may go like doom, 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 and then it'll like continue basically that same sequence throughout the entire time you have the effects on. So I feel it kind of defeats the purpose of a lot of these effects just because they're not at random. And if you are shooting like a short, for example, and this is going to be in your scene for more than a few seconds, people are going to be able to pick that up, and it's just not going to really look that realistic because you're going to be able to anticipate when and how frequently that burst of light is coming. So I think if they were to update that in all of their lights, it would be a significant improvement for people who really do enjoy using these effects. Now, jumping a little bit more into the effects, you have 3 different settings for the lightning, and then you have, flashes like this, and then more of like a TV effect. So it'll basically go a little bit dimmer, brighter, dim, dimmer. It'll kind of like switch between those and kind of mimic that look of you watching a TV. Now, there are a few other settings, but, like for example, this one, which is just a flickering light bulb. It may happen, it may not in this sequence. There you go. But like I said, it's very repetitive, so use that with caution. Let me go ahead and turn this back off. One of my favorite features about this is, so the dial on the right controls the power, right? If you were to depress that, it will change the power in 10% increments. So it makes it really easy and quick to change on the fly. If you wanted to go from like 1% to 100, you could do that within a couple of seconds, as opposed to having to rack through literally 1 through 100%. So this light comes in at around $270 at the time of me posting this video. The Godox SL60 is basically about 120 right now. So there is a price difference. However, I can tell you right off the bat, you do get a much higher premium feel and build of quality on the ML60 than you do the SL60. And you are going to inevitably add on a little bit of cost in that regard. Not to mention, it is significantly smaller. You are able to run it off of a battery pack, and it has a really nice handle. It just makes it overall very, very, very portable, along with the really nice case that it comes with. If I had to pick between the two, I would honestly definitely save up the extra money and get one of these. Now, with that said, guys, that is going to wrap up this review here. If I didn't cover something that maybe you specifically have a question about or want to know, go ahead and leave it down in the comments. I'll be more than happy to look into it and answer it for you. As always, thanks for watching. If you did find this useful, please be sure to give me a thumbs up. It really does help the channel continue to grow. And if you enjoy content like this, go ahead and subscribe and hit that bell notification, as I have new content coming out for you guys every single week. Now, with that said, I will see you all in the next one. Peace.